This is clearly not your father's Spider-Man. But do we want it to be ours? And can we keep the catchy theme song? Hey everyone, this is Ray with Classic Game Room, and Spider-Man Web of Shadows from Activision, Treyarch, and Shaba Games is the webhead's third adventure on the modern generation of consoles, the second not based on a movie, where he is the main protagonist. The game opens up with Spidey doing one of the things he seemed to do best: sulking. As the world seems to be coming down around him, though, he quickly snaps out of his reverie, and we take over in the obligatory tutorial level of Spidey's most basic maneuvers like punching, web-slinging, and wall climbing. While learning the basics, any comics fan will notice that his main foes during these exercises seem to be symbiote-possessed citizens. After progressing through the tutorial, one of our favorite comic book storytelling gimmicks is applied: the flashback, to New York City swarming with a few less symbiotes and a few more typical gun-wielding New Yorkers. Spidey is then thrown into his first boss battle with one of his most classic foes, thank you Todd McFarlane, Venom. No surprise considering there are symbiotes involved. During this early fight with one of Spidey's most nefarious foils, Venom's symbiote, which was originally Spidey's until he rejected it, splits in an attempt to bond once more with our friendly neighborhood wall crawler. This weakens Venom, forcing him to retreat, but Spidey, now in possession of a weak symbiote himself, is much stronger than his normal irradiated self. And thus the events of Web of Shadows are set in motion. Venom is back, he still hates Spidey, and he hates him even more now that they're sharing a symbiote. As you progress through the game and wait for Venom's master plan to come to fruition, which you probably figured out from the tutorial level is to drop an army of symbiotes into Manhattan, Spidey will be tasked with keeping the peace in his still crime-riddled New York. This allows Spidey to come in contact with many of his favorite friends and enemies and to stuff the game with foreshadowing of who just might get taken over by his symbiote later on. Luke Cage, Wolverine, Vulture, and many other familiars to Spidey's universe will make appearances, but what's most interesting is that the interactions with them not only determine whether or not they'll help you out later in the game, when you call for them in a la Maximum Carnage style, but also what ending you'll get. That's right folks, Web of Shadows has multiple endings depending on just how friendly you let your Spider-Man get. Another factor in this is how often you use your symbiote. Being able to switch back and forth in the midst of battle, the symbiote offers greater strength in web attacks, but also prevents you from regenerating health when you defeat bad guys. So if you're pretty adept at avoiding damage and don't mind a touch of the dark side, the symbiote might be the way for you to go. These choices are what make this one of Spidey's most in-depth solo adventures to date. Throw in a sprawling version of New York, and this game has a lot to bring you back for more, aside from the pure thrill most any Spidey fan will get from web-slinging down Broadway. The combat system is as fluid as I've seen in a third-person action adventure like this. There are also RPG elements in the game when you complete side objectives so you can strengthen your webbing, punching, speed, health bar, etc, etc, etc. The game's peripherals are also top-notch. Stunning graphics that make the characters seem as if they just leap off the comics page, and above-average voice acting truly help to immerse you in Spider-Man's New York. My only real beef with this game is its another symbiote storyline. Dating back to Maximum Carnage on the SNES, this is the fourth such Spider-Man adventure where the symbiotes end up being the central focus when all is said and done. With Spider-Man having possibly the richest rogues gallery in comics besides Batman, the fact that it always ends up with Venom or Carnage flat out disappoints me. Aside from this and a handful of minor glitches though that start to crop up as you progress later and later into the game, Spider-Man Web of Shadows is a gorgeous, enthralling Spider-Man adventure and should be a must-have for any fan of the character.